Here we go.
So, hi everybody, and welcome to another wonderful Wednesday, November 13th in US and Europe, and Thursday, November 14th in Australia. So now we have to announce all over the globe. Isn't that wonderful? You are watching Cosmic Sis-Stars Show on Cosmic Guardians with host Anne and Corinne and our wonderful, lovely special guest Adelinah today. We are going to talk about astrology, planets, birth charts, astrology, a lot of good things, plus your questions. And if anyone would ever want a free mini reading, we announce that all the time, but nobody wants. And I take that as a great sign because you are listening to what we are saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
And last show on Cosmic Guardians was Bob Eden, the Spiritual Mechanic Show, Friday, November 8th in US and Europe, and Saturday, November 9th in Australia, discussing the opposite direction. It was a short and sweet show, very, very intriguing. You can find it, the most easy way, I think, is to go to angelplaceonearth.com/upcoming-past. I learned the word today. And last show with Cosmic Sisters was last Wednesday, November 6th in US and Europe, and Thursday, November 7th in Australia. We talked about what is the difference between integrity and opinion, and that is a juicy one too. So if you missed any of our shows, please go and find us. And you can, of course, as I said, you can find us at angelplaceonearth.com/cosmic guardians, or you can also find upcoming and past episodes at angelplaceonearth.com/upcoming-past. I'm so proud of myself today. And we always go live at facebook.com/cosmic guardians and youtube.com/@angelplaceonearth. So let's dive into today's topic.
Mm-hmm.
And welcome, ladies. Welcome, Corinne. Welcome, Adelinah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Who wants to start?
I just want to say thank you.
Start.
Thank you for
I can
having
start.
this wonderful
Thank you.
opportunity for me to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you know most of these things already. There are so many things, but astrology, just going to chime in a little bit first. For me, it's like the tool and the roadmap. So we come into this world with our birth signs and the planets in a certain order, and that's kind of a roadmap. It doesn't exactly always tell us what to do, but it gives us personalities, it gives us traits, it gives us something to work with. That's a blessing, right?
Mm. You know,
Yes,
Anne,
please.
you took my words. I have written astrology is one of the tools we are given to be able to navigate through our lives. You can find out who you are, your talents, and your characteristics. That's astrology.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
astrology.
So astrology, it means astrologos, word from the stars. And horoscope is horoskopos in Greek, image of time.
Yeah. So in
So
Greek,
image of time of birth. Mm?
can I be like the movie now? My big fat Greek wedding, the dad in the movie. Astrology comes from the Greek word
Yeah,
astrologia.
astrologia. Yeah, astrologia. Yeah, words from the stars. There are 12 signs in a horoscope. And I don't take them now. I take the qualities. They are cardinal signs. Cardinal. They are deciding, outgoing. How shall I say? Self-assured. They know how to do and what they are, who they are, more than the others maybe. Cardinal signs: Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. And fixed signs: stubborn, and also very ambitious. Leo, Taurus, Scorpio, and Aquarius. Flexible signs, a little bit like I go here and I go there, and they are like fish in the water with everywhere with all kinds of people. Sagittarius, Gemini, Virgo, Pisces.
Pisces, okay.
And this is not enough. They are also, those 12 signs are in 12 different places in the horoscope circle. Its horoscope is divided into 12 pieces, like cake pieces. And they are called houses. So, in in one of the songs, for many old songs, the moon was in the 7th house. Do you remember?
Yeah.
So
Of
actually, I have
Aquarius.
my moon in the 7th house. So, elements. There are 4 elements: fire, and fire signs are Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Water signs: Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. Air signs: Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Earth signs: Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. And the combinations of these are interesting, and also even more interesting, what I said, qualities. If you have 2 fixed signs who fall in love with each other, especially, let's say, Taurus with Scorpio, and that is not a good combination, because no one of them, let's say like this, both of them want to be right. They don't give up their opinion easily, unless they have a moon that is compatible. That is, moon signs are almost more important in a relationship. If you have a moon that is good with the other person's moon, then you have a good love relationship, even if you have Scorpio and Leo or Aquarius, these fixed signs who always want to be right, or don't give up their own opinion so easily. Do you understand? This is not exactly like that, because we have so many combinations. We have so many. You can combine all these signs in many ways. But I have had this, how shall I say, this experience of these fixed signs and fire signs, and so that you have to know that. And if you know this, then you can relate in another way to these people, because you don't go into a fight and you don't go into an argument with someone who is very fixed. Another thing.
Gemini, can I just chime in here? Gemini, like me, I would say I hear you, but I don't really know if I'm going
Yeah.
to go along with your opinion yet. Let me have a taste
Okay.
first.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I said as a Gemini because I'm flexible, right?
You are flexible, and you are, yeah, but flexibility is a good thing. Many Geminis are good reporters and TV personalities, and they want to travel around and learn about people and learn about things happening everywhere. So that's a good sign to work globally.
Yeah. I have experience from Libra who have a little bit of difficulty sometimes to make a decision, right? So they can
Yeah,
weigh up and down, back and forth
yeah,
a lot. I know you're an Aries, but you are different from my mom is an Aries, and I really, it's like, a Gemini and an Aries sometimes come to clashes.
yeah. Yeah, but I have a water moon. I have a Cancer moon. So moon sign is very, very important in all kinds of relationships, because if the moon is is compatible, then you can cope with a person. So you have to look at your mother's moon.
I have no idea. I'm going to do that right after this
Now,
show.
lack of an element in a horoscope, because we don't have all signs and all elements in our own horoscope. I have seen horoscope where where people are like experts in something, and we have 12 different signs in a horoscope, but they had all planets were like in 4 signs. So the horoscope was like that. And they were experts, extremely intelligent, and only working with like, doctors or whatever, trying to, I know that he was studying chemistry, this person whom I'm thinking about, and the whole life was like chemistry, nothing else.
Okay,
So
that's interesting.
that's interesting. And of course, if you have all planets on one side of the horoscope, then you get many people opposite you. And I wonder if this is a bit difficult to live like that, because there's so many opposing you, or so many different from you. You are quite so like a loner in your life. Maybe.
Yeah.
It seems to me that if you really wanted to utilize all of the pluses and minuses from different people in different fields, and have the different astrology, that if you were putting together a team and you were having the advice of an astrologer work with you, that they would find people that their strong attributes complemented yours and was something that maybe not be in your field, but when you put them together, then it works, and it
Exactly.
forms a very cohesive relationship.
Yeah, exactly. And I was working at a big engineering company for many years ago, and at that time I started studying astrology. And the human resources manager, it was a man. He came to me one day and asked me for advice, exactly that kind of advice that you were talking about, Corinne, because he had employed 3 women, one after another, to work at his department together with him. And all 3 hated him after a while and just resigned and said, "We can't work with someone like you." And he came to me and said, "What's wrong with this? What's wrong with me? These women, they don't want to work with me." And I said, they are all Leos and you are Aquarius, and you are opposite each other. You are just totally different persons.
Yeah.
And next time you employ someone, don't take a Leo. And then I told, when this person was not somebody who was born in August, at the end of July and August. And he was employing a 4th person. And after a few months, he came and say, "Oh, you were right. She's perfect. We work so well together." But she was not a Leo.
Mm-hmm.
So it's actually quite good. And I know that there are companies who use this thing, that they contact an astrology or someone who knows astrology when they are employing a key person, because that's very important. It can ruin the company or lift the company to have right person in the right place.
Mm-hmm.
It's rare there's not so many who do it. Anyway, you can find your family in your horoscope often, unless you are adopted. So in my horoscope, I have moon in Cancer. My mother was Cancer. I have Sun in Aries. My father was Aries. I have Mars in Capricorn, and my grandfather was Capricorn. And I had ascendant in Sagittarius, and my grandmother was Sagittarius. So all my family is found in my horoscope circle, which is not so very common, but mostly you have some key members of family in your own horoscope,
Mhm.
telling this connection that you have, especially if you have a strong connection with someone in the family, then this person is found in your horoscope.
Hmm.
There are
Interesting.
horoscopes not only for people, for a place. You can have a horoscope for a certain place. You can have a horoscope for a happening. That we could have a horoscope for this talk, and you can have a horoscope for a country. It's not in Sweden. It's not easy because Sweden has 3 different years or dates of when Sweden was born. Finland is very easy because Finland was independent 6th December 1917. So there is a good horoscope material. And America also, the Independence Day, 4th July. That's a good one.
Mhm.
Swedes are always a little bit different, aren't they, Anne?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. Before, when I started astrology, I was looking at all the planets in a book that's called Ephemerider. And that's also a Greek word. Ephemeris is a newspaper, but in astrology, it's a book with all
Okay.
planets.
So ephemerida in Greek. No, I got it
Ephemerida.
twice, right?
Yes.
I couldn't stop myself.
So when I started astrology, I was invited by a workmate who was 30 years older than me for a ladies' dinner in a beautiful home in Stockholm, in a nice area in Stockholm. And I think we were 30 persons around the dinner table. And to the left of me, I got a lady who started talking to me, and she was an astrologer. And we talked and talked and talked, and I asked so many questions during that dinner. And then she called me afterwards and said, I'm going to have a course in astrology. Would you like to come? And of course, I was very interested. So I studied with this person, this woman. Her name was Christina, for 4 years. Once a month for 4 years, we were also studying with her, four ladies. And I didn't understand at the time how incredibly good astrology she was. But after I had started learning more, she was one of the best. She was world class, actually, fantastic. And she moved away from Stockholm up to northern Sweden and disappeared. She's no longer an astrologer, what I know. Anyway, she said to me after we had studied about 3 years, she looked at our individual horoscopes, and then she told me this was, let's say, this was 1995. And she said, Adelina, you have a very, very big change coming in your life. And she told me exactly when this change would start and when it was going, it was starting 96 and end 2000. And she said, everything in your life will change. I didn't believe her, of course not. And then it started. So during those 3.5 years, I had several relatives passed. I had divorced. I lost my job while I was buying a new home, but I didn't say it to the bank. So I got a new job before I had to leave my job. They closed the company, so we were 4,000 persons losing the job at the same time.
Wow.
And after that, I got a new job. I bought a home, and I thought, now it's over. It wasn't. My ex-husband died suddenly of a stroke, and that was the last of it all. But this was a period for 3.5 years when my half-brother died also, and my aunt, and there were so many funerals during those years that I had to go to therapy at the end. It was just too much, and that is, I know exactly why she said it. I had planet Pluto, over my ascendant in my birth horoscope, and aspecting opposite my moon and Uranus. So moon, Uranus, opposite Pluto on my ascendant. That was a really big cocktail, if I say so. Uranus is a planet. It's like explosion. It goes like this. Woo! Everything flows up on the air. And Pluto's, which I will talk about more about Pluto, because we are soon in Pluto category here. Pluto changes come very, very slowly, and also like in secret.
Yeah.
So suddenly you have a big change, but you haven't seen it coming.
Okay.
And
But Pluto actually brings huge changes.
yeah, huge changes. And I can give an example of change that is not so huge, but to my neighbor on some floors down here, an old lady, she has got a big apartment, and she bought an apartment for 3 years ago, and she had all kinds of checks made. It looks good and everything is okay in that apartment. And then this summer, she found out, and this is very Plutonic, I could say, that her freezer had been leaking all these years,
Mm.
and half of the apartment, which is big, has got water damage under the flooring. So she has had a building company there now for 3 months' time, and she can't move in before, no, maybe for Christmas. So she had to move somewhere else, and that is Pluto. Pluto is for sewage, and Pluto is for water damage, and all kinds of things like that, because it's like a change that comes slowly, and you don't see it. That's Pluto.
It's sneaky, right? A
Yeah,
little sneaky.
yeah, creeping out. And Uranus is like an explosion, fire. And I had Uranus, like I said, Uranus moon in my seventh house. Seventh house is the close relationships. And the how should I say, the divorce. My ex-husband came home and said, I want to divorce. From day from another. That was like, okay. It was an explosion.
Yeah.
Mm.
So that was Pluto for you, right?
No,
Mhm.
that was Uranus.
Okay,
Uranus.
Uranus. Okay.
Yeah. And Pluto was on opposite. So, but after this, after everything that happened, I would say it was the best thing that happened for me. It was absolutely the universe making things right for me, because the new life that I started a new life at new millennium 2000. Then I had a new home. I had never had an own home that was only my home. And I had moved straight from my parents to my husband. And the marriage was not so happy at the end of a few years. So everything was better than it had been before. But when you live in something, you don't see that it's bad, actually. And it wasn't bad, but it was so much better. And I still recall the day when I came from my work. For the first time, I had been working, and then I had moved to this home that I have, and I opened the door and with my key, and I came in and said, "Oh, this is my home." I was so happy.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Let's say that I was working with an astrologist, and they foresaw that there was going to be a big change, a conflict, and it could be, as you said. Sometimes when we get things cleared out, then we can see what's the good stuff, and after we've gone through the stuff that isn't so angry. What I'm asking is, if you have this information and you know that you are heading into something like that, are there ways that you can adjust to it so it doesn't really set you completely in a tither?
Yes, I can say like this. When you see, when it started, it started so that some of the relatives passed away. And there was nothing to do, of course. And then my husband started behaving in a strange way. And I thought, now I have to find help. So this was also guided. A woman from my work where I have been working before, that engineering company where I always talk about that. She called me and I told her there's something strange going on in my marriage. I don't know what it is. And she said, "Oh, call Marcus in England." And I said, "Who is Marcus in England?" He was psychic. And then I got a number and I called Marcus in England. And he said to me, "Don't do anything. Your husband will come home in 3 weeks' time and ask for divorce. Be prepared. And then he will do all he can to help you with it. If you take a divorce now, he will take everything from you." So that was the advice. And exactly that thing happened 3 weeks later.
So
He came up.
if you're working with somebody, let's say that I'm a company and I want to know when to buy this or when to not buy this or when to do certain things. If I'm working with somebody that is reading all of these signs and seeing how they interact,
Yeah.
if I as an individual were having someone give me this information, would there be ways that they could say, well, according to the stars, if you were to navigate this way, or if you would, maybe go this direction or this direction, is it possible that when you are facing something like this, that a person that does astrology would be able to kind of guide you so it wouldn't be as traumatic?
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's possible.
Okay.
If you have a really, really clever, good astrology, yes.
Okay.
Because astrology is predictive. You can see what's coming. You can see that something is coming, not exactly what it is. Like I didn't know exactly what it is, but I saw and I was told that something's happening, something's coming.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
then you can ask for help.
yeah.
Yeah, and
I think that astrology can guide very, very well. So it's a roadmap in that sense, right? So you can have your heads up, okay, and then you tune into your other stuff like intuition and things, but it's a roadmap. But I want to make clear for everybody watching this, we are not talking about the horoscopes in magazines
No.
because they are not
no,
accurate.
no.
No.
No. No. And thanks for clearing that up, because there is a vast difference. It's like it's like going and talking to a friend that said, "Oh, I read this and this and this and this," and going to somebody that has a PhD in this.
Yes.
It's a little different. It's a little different. But as
You know,
everything in our life, we are really the masters of our ship. But if you know that you're going to have some bumpy water, then maybe you can put a little padding along the edges, or you're also going to be able to say, I can weather this. Whatever comes, it's going to be interesting. But with the other tools that I have and trusting myself and my guidance, I will make it through. And it's kind of like not having a catastrophe just hit you in the face. It kind of gives you a chance to go,
yeah,
like preparing,
Yeah, exactly.
like yeah,
Because I'm very affected by many people are by Mercury retrograde,
Oh yeah.
and I used to fight the energy until quite a few years ago when I realized, okay, because it's energy. If I know
Mhm.
when that's coming, I can prepare myself. Right. So I can work with the energy instead of against it. Because working against the energy, that is up for a great fight and a failure most often, right?
It
So we
is.
use it to our advantage instead when we know, right?
Yeah. I can
Exactly.
say something, and I can say something about Mercury retrograde. I had thought about saying it at the end, but I can do it now because you took it up. Mercury retrograde, it isn't going backwards, but because Earth moves like it moves, it doesn't move, it moves in separate ways, and then it looks like a planet is going retrograde. And Mercury is maybe one of the planets that affects us most because it's the closest planet to the sun, and it's
Yeah.
a close planet to Earth. There's only Venus between us, and Mercury retrograde affects communication, like computers,
Yeah.
telephones.
But also when we have
Uh,
conversations. So it's a good time to take a receipt
Mm,
of, yeah,
yeah,
if
and
you want to
exactly. Yeah,
come across with something, you have to make sure that it's received in the way you intended, right?
exactly.
yeah, yeah.
Really be impeccable with your speech.
Yes.
Um, because the planets are energy, and because they also have the gravity and they have the density, and all of this, really, this isn't like a superstitious, oh, well, this is going to happen because
Mm,
this is happening. There is a physicality that does happen because of the pull and the draw.
Yeah.
It's just like our moon, you know, has control over the oceans. And so when you look at it from that perspective and take the mystery away, you can understand that there again, it's like any element in our being, in our world, we are affected by these things because
We
yeah,
we
are.
are energy.
Yes.
of course. Mercury retrograde attacks actually. I don't. It doesn't attack, but it affects trains, buses, airplanes, boats, and all problems with communication.
Mhm.
And technical things like computers, phones,
Oh,
everything technical.
Elevators.
yeah,
Last time when
we're
yeah,
just going to
last
take that time off and not try to transmit anything. You know?
I
no, but
learned something. Yeah, sorry, Arya, go ahead. I want to chime in after. Okay.
yeah, but you can. I was only be prepared to delays if you're doing something, if you're planning something. Start early from home because the communication maybe doesn't work when Mercury is retrograde.
Exactly. It is, however, I learned it's a brilliant energy to use for reflection, going within,
Oh, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
because that is things coming up for you. And many times miscommunication and things on a personal level, not technical stuff, right? There are things that are going to come up that we need to at least have a look at. That is freedom. That is a blessing with it. So I can actually now say, I didn't say this a few years ago, but now I say that it's a time of blessings
Hmm.
if we use it in a good way.
It is, yes. And that's basically kind of what everything is. Everything that happens around us, with us, from us, it's all gives us an opportunity to expand the beauty of who we are and to have that uh, opportunity to experience something that we may not have experienced if we had just been staying in the status quo. So yeah, it kind of shakes up the,
That's what I
stirs the
mean.
frame a little bit.
That's
Yeah.
what I mean when I said that the big change in my life, the changes, they were actually positive because I became another kind of person. I met many, many new people left my life in one or another way. Also friends who turned their back to me when we divorced. And I thought, but they were not my friends in that case. And I got own friends, and I met, and we met after everything was, we met 2000 actually.
Yeah, 2000, yes.
Yeah. So I got Anne and many others who saw me as I was, not as somebody's wife or someone, I don't know, someone working at a special company or so. So I am very grateful for that change, even if it was painful at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah,
Mm.
now I'm going to talk about transits. Do you know what transit is?
No, please explain.
Transit is when a planet comes and, the horoscope, your birth horoscope, is like a frozen picture of the moment when you are born. And at once the
Okay.
planet started moving and moving around the horoscope circle. And some planets are very fast and move many times over the, like Mercury is fast. And Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter, Neptune, Uranus, they are slower planets. Saturn takes 49 years through a horoscope.
Oh,
Pluto takes 248 years.
okay. Good luck with that
So,
one then.
yeah, that one is a good one because Pluto is the most remote planet and it's also the smallest planet. And you think that it shouldn't affect so much. But 248 years around the horoscope, it changes the sign very. I mean, it takes now. Let me see, 40 to 44 years in one sign, and we are about to change. So now 19th November, Pluto changes from Capricorn to Aquarius. It has been in Aquarius from last winter, and then it came back to Capricorn, and then back to Aquarius, and then back to Capricorn again. And now it changes. So 19th November is an important date. But this change in astrology with slow planets, the change starts before. So it has already started because Pluto in Aquarius means, for example, artificial intelligence coming very strongly. And we will have a big change in how we work. And that was already coming during the pandemic. People started working more from home, more with computers.
Mm-hmm.
We have robots coming. I saw that in my home country, Finland, people order food home to them with small robots already now. I don't think we have so much that in Sweden yet, but in Finland they do. And what is coming also with Pluto is the new technology, because Aquarius is very much a sign that is interested in new technology. Also spirituality, also like new ways of taking care of the sick people, new ways of medication, or not medication at all. Energy healing could come at the end of the period. So Pluto will be in Aquarius from what did I say, 19th November this year to 2044.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, yeah. And after that, it moves to Pisces. I don't even want to think about what it that's in Pisces, but I don't think nobody knows just now. The Pluto is quite, and it has started because you have got buses without drivers are coming, trains without drivers are coming, everything that is mechanical, that is made, and you can think about what you want. I don't like that, but what can I do? because it's coming.
Yeah, it's
It's
coming.
like computers came in the 1980s, and you could do nothing about it. Those who didn't follow, they were out of that kind of work, office
Well,
work.
I think that what we can do, we can take it to our personal level, and then we can say, I heard someone state actually, Ralph Smart. I love what he said, because technology can be very, very good, but we are
Yeah,
not to let technology use us. We are to use the technology
yeah,
working
exactly.
for us, not the opposite,
Yes,
right?
yes, of
And
course.
unfortunately, there's been this push to minimize the humanity
Yes,
Yeah,
in the people because we are getting more in touch with our real power, with who we really are.
yeah,
And the ones that want to just have the control over the technology and the control over the people um, do not want us to develop the way that we have the ability to do so. So I'm thinking also that in this time, that as we evolve as a humanity,
yeah,
we will bring that balance between the two. And this is what I'm focusing on, is that bringing the true potential of the human being to be there, and using the technology maybe to not take over for us as much as to be of assistance to us.
yes,
And
exactly.
exactly. And that is the only way to do it, of course.
right.
And I mean, so it was when the computers came, and I was working at the office, and I was one of those people who really wanted a computer, and I was interested in it and everything. Those who weren't, they had to find jobs in another fields. But if you are eager and if you are curious and find out what's going on, then it's nothing scary actually.
But on a personal note, I'm not going to be around in 2044. So no, it's like I'm
I'm,
just going to ride this out a little bit here.
I think you are going to watch all of this from above, right?
I may decide to, go back to the mothership and see what transpires. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's
I'm,
going to be interesting.
yeah, I'm not sure I'm going to be around either. So we don't know.
Well, you're so much younger than I am that you've got a better chance of seeing
Yeah.
all of
I
these
have
interesting things.
I have a neighbor who is 99 years old, next year to 100, and she's the most clever and smart person I've ever met. So don't say anything about age because it
Oh
depends
no,
on who you are.
no. If I can do what I'm doing at 80, I'm going to still be able to do what I'm doing at 90 and 100. So, you know,
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
So if you're going to be
So
around, Corinne, I'm going to be here with you.
well,
yeah.
according to the lines on my hands, I'm supposed to go to 138. So,
Oh, that's
you know,
great.
That's a
so
good one.
I'm only halfway through. So I'm a teenager right now.
Oh, your sense of humor, Karine, is absolutely teenager sense of humor.
Well,
Yes,
is it?
are we good with Pluto? I'm not sure we are. Anyway, I want to move to Uranus. Uranus comes with a change that is sudden. For example, now I'm very much in the sewage problem. When Pluto comes to your bathroom, it's there and doing bad things until it's too late. And when Uranus comes with plumbing and bathroom, then it's like my neighbors also. I have neighbors of many kinds. They had a neighbor who had bought an apartment upstairs above their apartment, and they had hired a company to redo the bathroom. And that company bored a hole on the floor, which was my neighbor's ceiling. And suddenly the person upstairs could
Oh,
see in their bathroom. That was not so
oh,
nice. That was
my
Uranus.
goodness. That was
Yeah,
Uranus. Okay. A heavy energy, right?
yeah.
Not
All
not that pleasant.
accidents, yeah, accidents with fire are Uranus, explosions, that kind of things. And I would say criminality is a little bit Plutonic. Scorpio is Pluto is Scorpio's planet, I would say. It doesn't mean, many people have asked me, oh, but Scorpio, that's a terrible sign. It isn't. And that's when I think about it now. Didn't remember to say it, but every astrological sign has a lower form and a higher form.
Mhm.
Like Pisces in a lower form, they could be, not all, but they could be entitled to test escapism, like drugs, alcohol, whatever. In the higher form, Pisces could be enlightened, like Mother Teresa.
Wow.
And so also those Pisces in a lower form, they can go higher if they want. And so it is with Scorpio. It can be most clever. It can be one of the famous politicians doing a lot of good. And it can also be a person who is interested in the dark side of the life.
Yeah. A little bit of a
So,
fickle person.
yeah.
Yeah.
So every single, and Aries, I'm Aries, and I'm very much, because I have an ascendant in Sagittarius, which is spiritual sign. I'm like a spiritual junkie. All the spiritual is nice for me. And Aries can be also a fighter, a soldier that fights, like a hired soldier to a war or whatever. And I mean, it's good or bad. And we choose. And someone who is bad can raise himself due to circumstances. You don't need to be where you have been. You can raise yourself
Because we
if you
have
find
a
out who you
choice,
are.
right? Yeah, we
Mm,
have choices
mm,
and we can make the choices. So
Mhm.
we are
exactly.
not giving, this is the reason we talk about astrology among many other things as tools, because they are, and they can help
Yeah,
Very
us a
much
lot,
so.
but we are still in charge.
Mhm.
We are not
yeah.
victims, right?
Correct.
And yeah, that's what I mean, that you can use it to see what are your your strong things, what are your strong qualities in your horoscope.
Yes,
Because we
yes,
all have strong qualities. We all have, like, also Pisces that I talked about, they can be world famous artists. And Taurus can be, many Taurus and Taurian people are good singers. So most of the, Barbara Streisand was Taurus, so they have a really good voice to sing. Some of them. Maybe you know, Karine, don't sing.
I think you used to sing, didn't you, Corinne? Yes,
Yeah, you see.
yes,
Okay.
yes,
Yeah.
Sing,
Okay.
dance. Um, I have a sculpture that I did. Anything that is artistic or
Yeah.
creative, and
That's
ye-
Taurus. Mm,
yes,
yeah.
design things. Yes,
Yeah. And
that's the fun part.
and Gemini, because Anne is Gemini. Gemini is incredible to have contact with people, all kinds of
yes.
people, no matter who.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm always talking, even though I
Yeah, but
know don't even know people. That's me.
creating contact also, creating friends and creating contact. That's a good one.
Yeah. Plus very, very fast many times. So the part of me that I try to work with a little bit that is impatient sometimes because maybe my response from someone else is not coming
Yeah.
fast enough, right?
We have that in common. But when I was young, Aries is the first sign. And I go back to this agent, what was I say, the engineering company, and there were so many people. We were 350 in the office where I was working, and every time somebody asked, who could do this? I can do it. I can do it. Because I'm an Aries, and I got so when nobody answered. This is very Swedish. That's all people were waiting that somebody else would answer. And then when several minutes had been and nobody answered, I got like creeps. Okay, I do it. But I couldn't do anything, so I stopped myself and don't say anything. Don't say anything.
Anya, I have a question for you because we have actually a picture to show, right?
Mm,
Are you
yeah,
ready to
Oh
talk
yes,
about that?
please
Yes.
please.
show the
Okay.
picture.
Yeah, I'm
Mm?
going to show it. So now, guys, you're not going to see us. You're going to see the picture here.
Yeah,
It's an astrology chart.
yeah. And I can say to all who listen that astrology charts on internet, you can find pages there where they are free. So the only thing you need to put, if you want your own chart, you put the time and day and year when you were born and the place, the birthplace, and then you get a chart. But this chart is not the birthplace or birth chart. This is a chart when pandemic started in Sweden and almost the same thing in the whole world. And why the astrologers, uh, some months before this came, they talked about and they wrote about that something's going to happen that is global. And we don't know what it is because there's an enormous gathering of planets in Capricorn. And there's Pluto, Saturn, Sun, Mercury, and the last one is uh, Jupiter. And this was in January 2020 when the
Okay.
pandemic came. And
Yeah, and
just after that, yeah,
I
yeah,
think it says that 5 planets were in Capricorn, right?
yeah, and that's very
Yeah.
rare.
Yeah.
And then the Sun and Mercury changed, of course, because they are fast planets. But the three others, Jupiter came closer to Saturn and Pluto, and those three have been together very, very seldom. So this was a big thing. It's the same thing with Pluto going to Aquarius on 19th November this year, which is a very big thing. Last time it happened was at the end of 18th century when the French Revolution came.
Mm.
So we have got a lot of things going on in this world. And I think this has already started because in astrology, difficult things they start and then maybe next year it's over and we can start 2025 from a blank paper. Not like that. We hope so.
But I think, like we said before, an astrologer can spot that something is going to happen in rare events, and probably if it's going to be a little bit of the energy, but not really exactly always what it is. But it's a good thing
No,
to have a heads up, right?
Hmm.
I
It's
think it's good not to know exactly
yeah.
what will happen.
I
I
think
mean,
It's
that's
like a warning. Mm.
just like, I mean, we rarely get really cold times in the desert, but we want to know when they're coming because our desert plants can't handle a long frost. And so it gives us
Yeah.
an opportunity to cover everything. It's not like traumatic. I mean, we may lose a few things if they're bigger than what we can throw a blanket over, but at least it gives us a heads up, so to speak. So
yeah,
Yeah.
using this
Exactly so.
as a tool, like all
Mm.
the tools that we have the four agreements are tools, the Celestine prophecies are tools. This is a tool. Talking
Numerology.
to a psychic, that's a tool. And if people address them like a tool instead of, that is going to change the world completely if that person just takes over. It's like me telling my hammer to go out and saw down the tree. It isn't going to work. I need a different tool for that.
yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
exactly.
That's true.
you know. So
That was a good one.
Being able to not just be consumed with one way, but having the knowledge of a lot of different ways,
Exactly.
I think allows us to then listen to our intuition and bring forth all of this knowledge so we can navigate a little easier.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think actually it's a brilliant way, because a lot of people think that things are destined to be.
Cast in
Um,
stone, yeah.
yeah, no, nothing is cast in stone. But this, for instance, any tool we use will give us a clue, so we more easily, because to be honest, this energy in this world can be called a little bit dense sometimes. So it can be tricky to really hear yourself. Plus, we
Mhm.
need to do the work to hear ourselves, right? But
Correct.
we can have huge benefits from tools like this.
Exactly.
Very much so.
And you can use many tools that I mean, you can also use numerology, which is very similar. It confirms the astrological things if you are interested in numerology.
Yeah,
And also you can look at the oracle cards, so tarot, whatever you are into. And you
exactly.
can consult a psychic if you want, but uh, I have been guided to ask a psychic a couple of times when I haven't seen where my life is heading, and that's a very good thing. Nowadays, not, because I think that I can see it myself.
Yeah, there are different ways, how we approach our path, because when we are digging deep enough within, we don't have that urge to know exactly what's going to come in the future, because we
No,
navigate
no,
in a different way. I just have to show a card here.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah,
yeah,
it's three of wands, two of wands.
Hmm.
It's a beautiful tarot card. I have a tiny deck. It's the size of my hand, to be honest.
Yes. Wow.
you can tell our listeners to what it means, please.
Yes, for me, this card, first of all, one stands for um, practical matters, very often work. I interpret this as someone standing, looking out into the world, holding the world in their hands. This is a wonderful sign that
Yeah,
if you have the feeling that you are struggling, or you don't see an outcome coming for you, or you wonder about things, you are in, you are to see possibilities and options coming to you. Plus, when you look at the wands here, it's like small, tiny little new leaves are coming here. So it's growing, but it's
Yes.
in the beginning. If you took numerology here, that is number two, and numerology in this case, you could say from 1 to 9, you are at the early beginnings of something when you are going to see possibilities and options coming for you that you can
Yes.
choose from, right?
Perfect.
yeah,
Perfect. Yeah.
exactly. And when you look at the astrology together with that card, we are having Aquarius stepping in on 19th November. So we are in the beginning of something new.
Yeah.
But
See?
Yep.
but we can say it's not a bad thing.
No, and plus, if you take the globe, we could see in the hand of the person on the card, it means it's going to be not only for us personal, it's going to be a bigger thing.
Yes. Yes. But always
That's what,
remember that each individual, all of
yeah,
this energy that we're pouring in there, we make the change.
Yes, we
exactly.
do.
We do.
So thank you for listening. I think I have emptied everything that I need to empty today of astrology. It's a huge subject. So
Yes.
there's so much in it, but I think it's enough just now.
Okay. Miss Kareen, is there anything you want to add?
Well, this was, like I said, I have always wanted to do more in this field, and this has just kind of enticed me to bring out my books and kind of look a little bit further into it. And I also do numerology, and I've done the tarot cards. So putting all of this together, it's you know, my little toolbox is getting really nice and big.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Plus, we're going to have something else on Friday. Friday, November 15th, right? We're
Hmm.
going to have a new full moon. How beautiful is
I
that?
know,
Yeah.
Taurus,
A,
a Taurus,
a beaver moon.
a beaver moon, and
What does
my
that mean?
Um, I think the name basically only associates with the preparation of beavers for hibernation during November. That's what it
Yeah,
yes,
said.
of course.
yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. So
So yeah, but full moon is when we are closing. A new moon is when we can start new things, right? So we're closing a cycle basically.
Mhm.
And it's
yes,
a good time to tie up loose ends if we feel we can, and there's no pressure. We can do rituals because it's like we're closing up something. You would say, and this may sound awkward for some people, but in the tarot, you would say closing up a circle, that would be the death card, right? But it's
hmm,
not a physical death.
no,
It's something needs
the
to,
end of something. Yes,
End
yes,
of
the
something.
end
Yeah.
of something, so a new beginning can come. And if we follow the moon, there's a whole lot of wonderful cycles within the moon cycle itself.
Mhm.
yes. I'm
My
starting to hold.
astrology, yeah, my astrologer told me that if you start a new work at new moon, you will stay at that company for a longer time. But if you start at the waning moon, you will only be there for a short time. And I saw in my, like, I was following that, and that was true, actually.
Yeah.
Yes, it's to kind of move away a little bit from all of this wonderful stuff we're talking about. There was this cartoon, and this the cat was saying to the dog, "You know what's going to happen tonight?" And the dog says, "What?" And he says, "It's a full moon." And the dog says, "Yeah, so." And he says, and then the cat brings out the sunglasses and the tanning oil. "It's moon bathing time." And as a redhead, I can't sunbathe, but I do moon bathe.
Okay.
That's
Sounds
wonderful.
nice.
Yeah,
Sounds nice.
be- because we are affected by the moon as well, very strongly. Even the water, um, flooding and the other thing.
Yep.
I don't know in English. Sorry, guys.
So when I'm
But
sitting in the pool in the moonlight, you know, it's pretty powerful.
Really?
it
Yeah,
is powerful. So, ladies, do you think we are ready
Yeah.
I
for
think so.
today?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, thank you everybody for watching Cosmic Sisters and our wonderful special guest, Miss Adelina, all the way from Sweden. You can find her at, it actually says here, I think, so I can put that up again here so we can see that. You can find Adelina at facebook.com/Adelina with an H 4444. And there are other ways to find her too. You can find her at angelplaceonearth.com/Adelina. That's another way. And you can see a lot of things, links, and connect with her. Plus, you can find me and Corinne there as well. Angelplaceonearth.com/Cosmic Guardians. And today we have been talking and digging quite deep into astrology, and that's fascinating. Thank you so much,
Hmm.
Adelina, for telling us all of this good stuff.
My
Our
pleasure.
next our next upcoming show here will be with Bob Eden, the Spiritual Mechanics Show, on Friday, November 15th in US and Europe, and Saturday, November 16th in Australia. And we're going to have a juicy topic. God is not stupid. The universe is not stupid. In other words, right?
Hmm.
Uh, and next show with Cosmic Sisters is going to be next Wednesday, November 20th in US and Europe, and Thursday, November 21st in Australia. We will talk about harmony in action, unveiling the essence of co-creation. And we will have a special guest, Adelinah the Greek, all the way from Greece. Isn't that a bliss too? So we are
Yes.
blessed with a lot of guests this month. We love
Yes.
that. And again, if you want to find us, angelplaceonearth.com/cosmic guardians and facebook.com/cosmic guardians. And you have been watching Cosmic Sis-Stars Show with our special guest, Adelinah. And see you soon. See you next week. Love, light, peace, and joy from me. What do you say, Corinne?
Love, light, peace, and laughter.
And Miss Adelinah, what do you say?
Yeah. Hyvää yötä. Good night from Sweden.
Good
Yes.
night. Bye.
Bye bye.